Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. I'm laughing because I don't know how to review this book. I'm halfway through. It's for one of my book clubs. And there's a part of me that's enjoying it, and then there's another part of me that's really not enjoying it. And I think it's because the author has taken um, the okay, the author is using sort of the idiomatic English that her Indonesian Chinese aunties are speaking. And each auntie, there's four aunties, each one of them has a slightly better grasp of English than the others. And they're highly competitive with each other and constantly sort of chastising each other and bickering and so forth. So there's a lot of very funny turns of phrases. But once upon a time, I made fun of my mom. She had a couple of turns of phrase, or mostly accents, that made English kind of funny for, the people that I was mimicking her to. And someone along the line said, does your mom know you mock her like that? And I just thought, well, yes, she does, and she thinks it's funny, but it kind of gave me pause because I thought, yeah, I am kind of mocking. So there's this mocking tone in this book that makes me just a little bit uncomfortable. And I keep thinking, am I reading something that is not appropriate? Does that make sense? Where a certain group of non-Caucasians are being made fun of. And so I'm not finished the book, but it's the tone that has me a little bit on edge. And yes, it's funny, but there's another part of me that just is a little concerned. On the other hand, I'm the person who laughs when someone, slips on a banana. So I don't have the best morality when it comes to humor. Usually I'm the person laughing at the inappropriate things. So why don't I just enjoy it? So I have got this ambiguous thing going on in my head. Phillipa Gregory, one of the books that I have been looking to read for a couple of years now. I have mentioned it. It's quite a big one. So I'm going to two things. I have been reading this at 12 pages a night, and I think that is a really effective tip that we received from Tristan and the Classics. Especially at bedtime, it's just the right amount. Every once in a while, I don't get to all 12 pages. Every once in a while, I'm in a section where I'm not ready to be done. I want to go to the end of the section or something. So some nights it's more than 12, but it's just generally a good guideline. So I feel that's a good way to get through these thicker books. On the other hand, this book just made me so sad because we start off in the 1900s and women are not doing too badly, and then we get to the tens and it's like the 1000s, and it's not too bad. Things are starting to change as the Normans are coming in and undoing the Anglo-Saxon way of doing things. And by the time we get to the 13 and 1400s, I don't know how single women survived. I mean, they're just not allowed to do anything. And they're continually up on charges, and it's not just women, vagrants as well, but it's just, you need so much permission, and there are so many rules against looking after yourself. I mean, even as simple as midwifery, the ladies who are helping the process of birthing are vulnerable. And women just can't turn around without getting kicked in the ass. So I'm in the 1800s, and I just thought, wow, I just keep getting sadder and sadder the more the rights of women are being eroded. Now the 1800s, I guess, is where things are starting to turn around, and we get into the suffragettes and so on. I probably don't have that much left to go because there's quite a big bibliography and footnotes section, which I hadn't really noticed. I guess I've probably only got about 150 pages left to go, maybe 200, but I'm going to let it go. This was one of my really anticipated books of a couple years ago, and I'm so sad to let it go, but I just can't deal with women's complete lack of any kind of self-autonomy. And I know things improve, but today's current events makes me think someone's reading this book for ideas. The other book that I have just finished and really, really enjoyed is, let me see, No Glare. Is there no glare there? A Plague on Both Your Houses by Susanna Gregory. This is a 20th anniversary edition. It was written in, I did look it up, 1996 originally. And I'm pretty sure, I was trying to remember whether I had read it in Toronto or whether I had read it here. I'm pretty sure I read it here, and I'm pretty sure I read a few more books in the series. Now, this book, the protagonist is Matthew Bartholomew. It's taking place in the 1300s, and we are introduced to the first plague that's traveling through England. And from there on, there are at least 20 books in the series. And I think I read them out of sequence. And every one of them I've really enjoyed. This one stayed with me quite a bit because it was the first medieval mystery that I had read, and there's a couple of interesting, we don't have really any kind of science or detective methodology in this era, so the ways that a mystery gets solved are a lot more, what would you do? I think there's a lot more instinct, a lot more observation and logic as opposed to tools or detective teams. So Matthew's up against a really, really contrived, complicated, I just lost the word, conspiracy. And Oxford is a university town that is down the road, and Matthew Bartholomew is practicing as a physician in Cambridge. And so this is in the beginning of Cambridge. There aren't that many colleges. There are a lot of things called hostels where there's individual professors, or maybe 3 or 4, and they have a cluster of students, and they have their sort of own mini university. And so this is before everything has come together into Cambridge as we know it today. And Oxford and Cambridge are battling it out for these students, just like Canadian universities today. And however, what they're not doing is they're not murdering their fellow professors. So there's this conspiracy that's happening at the same time that the plague arrives of course, nobody really knows anything about the plague, and there isn't any kind of accepted method. There doesn't seem to be any kind of cure. There isn't even any pain relief to speak of. So it's just a gong show in terms of there's dead bodies everywhere, literally. And the conspiracy theory is, conspiracy plotters are fairly effective in either certain people die naturally from the plague, or certain people are having to be done away with. And of course, the infrastructure of the town means that people like the sheriff has died, or the bishop is hiding from the plague, or so the authority figures are not very present. So it's a bit chaotic on the ground. This is a very well-told story. Matthew is a very interesting character. He has a tendency to mull over the news, or like progress reports. I think there are a few in his own head. I think there are a few too many progress reports. He ends up having to do a fair amount of walking because he doesn't have a horse. So like those are the two caveats that I would have, is that there's just a little bit too much of a reconsidering of the plot points that he's aware of it up to that point. And he also we spend a lot of time seeing him walking as opposed to, I don't know, sitting down and having a dinner, or there's a fair amount of description, but he does walk a lot. So And the winter weather is miserable. In the medieval period of time, nobody had glass in their windows, so it's freezing. Do I recommend this? I'm going to say that I actually recommend it quite highly. I was quite keen to get to this. It was the first time in quite a while where I had a book that I wanted to keep coming back to. I was annoyed that I was not being able to sit through and just, read all the way. Life got in the way of the book a little bit, and that annoyed me. So that's the first time that's happened in quite a few mysteries. Quite often with a mystery, I'm just sort of barely paying attention. So the other series that Susanna Gregory has written, and I do not think that I have read them, but I'm going to check it out, is the Thomas Challoner series. There are about 15 books in that one, and I actually have no idea the time frame or whether Thomas is an individual solver of mysteries or not. So it's just a little something to look forward to. I do not know whether any of the other books after the original, like this one's the first in the series, I do not know whether the rest are being reprinted or not. It might be a bit of, I haven't done any shopping information for you, so I really don't know how easy they are to get hold of. But they are, I think if you see them in a used bookstore or at your library, but absolutely pick them up. Oh yeah, you know what? On the back here, under the little price tag, there is at least 3 that have been, no, 2 that have also been reprinted. So that's good. I recommend that. What's happening next? I have got A for Aunties that I have to finish, and the next old-to-me author of mystery writers is Sharon McCrum. And this is what's called a ballad novel. So they've gone and used the ballads from, I think, the Appalachians and envisioned what the real story was behind those ballads. That's it for me. No advice, no tips, no 15-second accomplishments. But I did get my little fingers manicured. That usually isn't on my plan, but it was a snowstorm, and the lady who does this kind of work around the corner, she gave me a ring and she goes, all my patients have canceled and you're within walking distance. You want a discount on a manicure? Sure. Okay, I will talk to you next week with hopefully some more mystery novels. Take care. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true. Bye-bye for now.